Hi, my name is Eileen Bensten. I am the history librarian at Baylor University Libraries, and I have chosen to read from the autobiography of Malcolm X. I have to confess I've never read this book, but just this past spring I was a moderator for the history fair in McLennan County, and I met a young man who was a sixth grader who was so intensely into Malcolm X and did such a wonderful job of presenting about Malcolm X and was so convinced of Malcolm X's work that he's inspired me to go ahead and read this. So I'm going to read a random passage from it now. At the Garwood factory where I worked, one day the supervisor came looking for me. He was looking nervous and said that a man in the office was waiting to see me. The white man standing in there said, "I'm from the FBI." He flipped open, that way they do to shock you, his little folded black leather case containing his identification. He told me to come with him. He didn't say for what or why. I went with him. They wanted to know at their office why I hadn't registered for the Korean War draft. "I just got out of prison," I said. "I didn't think you took anybody with prison records." They really believed I thought ex-convicts weren't supposed to register. They asked a lot of questions. I was glad they didn't ask if I intended to put on the white man's uniform, because I didn't. They just took it for granted that I would. They told me they weren't going to send me to jail for failing to register, that they were going to give me a break, but that I would have to register immediately. So I went straight from there to the draft board. When they gave me a form to fill out, I wrote in the appropriate places that I was a Muslim and that I was a conscientious objector. I turned in the form. This middle-aged, bored-acting devil who scanned it looked out from under his eyes at me. He got up and went into another office, obviously to consult someone over him. After a while, he came out and motioned for me to go in there. These three, I believe they were three as I remember, older devils sat behind desks. They all wore that, quote, troublesome nigger, end quote, expression, and I looked, quote, white devil, end quote, right back into their eyes. They asked me on what basis did I claim to be a Muslim in my religion. I told them that the messenger of Allah was Mr. Elijah Muhammad, and that all who followed Mr. Muhammad here in America were Muslims. I knew that they had heard this before from some Temple One young brothers who had been there before me. They asked if I knew what, quote, conscientious objector, end quote, meant. I told them that when the white man asked me to go off somewhere and fight and maybe die to preserve the way the white man treated the black man in America, then my conscience made me object. They told me that my case would be, quote, pending, end quote, but I was put through the physical anyway, and they sent me a card with some kind of classification. That was 1953. Then I heard no more for 7 years, when I received another classification card in the mail. In fact, I carry it in my wallet right now. Here, it's card number 20219251377. It's dated November 21, 1960. It says, quote, Class 5A, end quote, whatever that means. And stamped on the card's back is, quote, Michigan Local Board number 19, Wayne County, 3604 South Wayne Road, Wayne, Michigan, end quote.